Hello, 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 and welcome back to the GTD Podcast. I am the Norex, and I speak for the podcast. I speak for the podcast, for the podcast has no lips to speak for itself. So I have to do that for it. The podcast is just sort of a general term, but whatever. I'm here today without Max. He's probably the most famous person on this podcast, but
famous.
I'm here again without Max, but I do have Devin and Matthew.
Yes.
Introductions.
And as
who do I have here? I have Matthew. What's going on with you?
As you know, I am the best co-host in this podcast.
No, you're not.
Who knows a lot about games.
That's a blatant lie.
And definitely talks throughout the podcast more than a little. Don't check the previous podcasts. Those are staged.
Yeah, sure. What about you, Devin?
I am a person who talks about things.
That's probably the best introduction we're going to get today. So, yes, welcome to the GTD Podcast. We have several things lined up to talk about. We're going to be talking about what we've been playing this week. I can guarantee you already know the answers, though, because it never changes. Then we'll be taking a look at some trailers. We have two trailers today, both of which are for very, I'd say, highbrow game releases. Then we'll be moving on to some host topics. I guarantee you we don't have any, though, because that's just how it generally goes. I don't know what to tell you, but that's just how it works. Moving swiftly onward from that, we'll be talking about any news we have, which we do have quite a bit. I might even get a good rant out of the news we have, depending on...
Exciting.
What?
I said that's exciting.
Yes, just I don't know why I'm also mysterious about what we're talking about. Presumably, my two co-hosts look at what I send them, and they know what we're talking about. So surely I don't need to be secretive about what we're talking about. And hell, it even give, a reason for the viewers to look forward to the video and care about watching it. So instead of doing what I have been doing, we're gonna redo the intro live on podcast. And I'm going to say this instead. We have several things coming up in the show. We are going to be talking about what games we've been playing this week. That's the only bit that I don't know about. But like I said, it's probably not going to change. Then we're moving on to trailers. We have a trailer for Ratchet and Clank and Rift Apart, and also a trailer for I shouldn't say it. It's not the second trailer we have today is not a highbrow game release, but it's interesting, and I think it's worth talking about, which is the Hot Wheels Unleashed trailer. A trailer for Hot Wheels Unleashed, which is a game that we'll get to. Then we'll be talking about any host topics we have, and maybe we'll have some, maybe we won't, I don't know. Then we'll be moving on to the news. Strictly speaking, we're going to be talking about Activision mostly, and their recent transgressions in regards to the studio Toys for Bob and the CEO himself, Bobby Kotick. We'll also be discussing CD Projekt Red's recent stuff as well.
Development.
What I mean. And then we'll move on to shameless self-promotion, which is the only bit of the show that nobody cares about. And after that, we'll be on to the end of the show, and hopefully by the end of the show, I'll be able to properly have a good, end bit.
You're the Norex, and you speak for the podcast.
Yeah, that. Also, what are you doing? Let's. Yes, that. Anyways,
I was sorting some old files and I found it.
Well, yeah, I'd hope you still have it. Anyways, let's swiftly move on from this intro that is far too long and get right into things. Matthew, what have you been playing this week?
Minecraft. To elaborate more, I've specifically been playing a lot of Minecraft 1.6. which has been pretty nostalgic and fun. I'm gonna edit a bunch of footage we have later.
Right.
I beg to disagree.
I'm going to.
He hasn't edited any footage yet.
Out of that specifically. And then we built some stuff on that. I'm gonna be focusing on YouTube a bunch of that too. Anyway, that should be related to shameless self-promotion now that I think about it.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, 1.6 has been pretty fun. The Nether is really boring, unfortunately. And don't fight zombie pigmen; they will kill you, and you will lose 40 levels.
That's just a general. You don't fuck with anything in the Nether. That's the general rule of the Nether. Is you don't mess with the people in there.
Aaron, you know nothing. Totally. Yep. No, you know nothing.
I've been playing Minecraft for at least 5 years longer than you have.
That's depending on how you track time. If you mean total amount of time, no. But if you mean total distance of time.
Let's determine this real quick because I'm weird. So we started in the alpha days of Minecraft Pocket Edition, which was around 2011. I know this because we used the alpha strain for loading worlds and stuff.
Oh my god. Can we?
So,
Can you
Aaron,
at least say your antidote in an interesting fashion?
Yeah, be more like me. Be interesting.
so then, and Aaron, what edition did you start playing Minecraft around? Because we got our actual Minecraft account around 1.6, I think, was when we actually finally got it, and around the end of that one too. But still long enough to
I started
have to get
playing
used to the sprint
Minecraft
button.
in when was because I remember 1.6 was I need to figure out the timeline of Minecraft, but basically all you need to know is that I started playing Minecraft when creative mode was the creative mode screen was just the scroll bar window. And it didn't have its different sections. It was just the big window that you would scroll through all the stuff with. And you couldn't access your inventory unless you opened a chest.
Yeah, I remember you showing us Minecraft.
Yeah.
Me just messing around on creative
Back
mode.
then,
TNT.
I don't remember the exact date.
That was
About 2011, 2012, something along those lines. Because Minecraft was basically
probably
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go on a side note.
2010 or 2011.
So Minecraft was basically my gateway drug into YouTube. Because I didn't start getting really into YouTube until I started playing Minecraft, because I started watching Paul Source for tutorials and whatnot, and I basically got really into his content, which I watched more than I played Minecraft, ironically.
Same.
And that was basically my gateway into my YouTube addiction.
That's fair.
So
That's a
that's
good
how
one.
far back it goes. No.
So yeah, I
started-
think you started around the release, the full release, like 1.0.
Well, I didn't start I started playing Minecraft when hunger was already a thing.
I know. So beta 1.8 was when hunger was introduced, and then the release is 1.0. So you probably started, which was 2010. So you probably started playing around 1.0, 1.1,
like
or
that.
1.2, which was when the creative menu was weird
Yeah.
and frustrating. But and then we got Pocket Edition shortly after you showed us, I think. Because that's
Yeah,
when
and
we
I'm
started
also
traveling.
responsible for both of your problems.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
You can trace back all of the destruction Minecraft has caused to me.
Maybe we
And
would have
then-
played maybe if we hadn't been addicted to Minecraft, we would have been addicted to a harder game.
And then-
I mean, you've never owned any consoles outside of handheld ones, so I highly doubt that.
No, but maybe we would have played
I'm saying.
Temple Run. Maybe we would have just played a lot of Temple Run or Chicken Bird Angry Birds.
We already played a lot of Temple Run.
I know, but we would have played even more.
I think I fell off of Minecraft around 1.10 or 1.11
Anyways,
because I think I fell
This
off before
discussion-
the color update, and then the aquatic
Matthew.
update got me back into Minecraft
just gonna say,
temporarily, and then
the
1.16.
anecdote has officially outlived its welcomeness.
Anyway,
Thank
yes.
The anecdote has gone on too long.
Moving on.
Anyways,
Yeah,
Matthew, instead of trying to explain your history, just anything. Minecraft, I know you've been playing it. You said you were playing 1.6. Anything
Yeah.
interesting you want to discuss about that?
Ooh, I don't want to reveal too much because it's going to be in a recording.
I mean, that recording's probably going to come out in like 10 weeks. People have forgotten about this by then.
And people would forget probably that podcast that was a while before. Well, it depends on when watching. I'll keep the spoilers brief. Anyway,
You know, if you actually
so we
recorded,
found a little jungle plateau.
recorded, edited, and uploaded these things before the podcast goes up, or just, in a time frame that's reasonable, you wouldn't have this problem.
There's no way I'm editing nearly 2 hours of footage in like less than a day
Well,
and adding music and other sound, which is probably just going to be music, but still. Either way, we found a little jungle plateau after leaving our little it's multiplayer also. After leaving our little snow area, and then I lost 40 levels in the nether. And I found diamonds, built a little mine. That was fun, and a very special thing we found in the first few hours.
on
The third day. Wow. We found that on the third day.
in Minecraft time, yes.
That doesn't seem right. And then I think about speedrunners finding things in like 20 minutes. But, so you'll see the special thing in the. Also, we got a kitty cat. You'll see the special thing in the video. And I will make sure it is quality.
Yeah. Why don't you explain to the special audience why you didn't record a lot of what you have built?
Oh, because my brain was like, I'm gonna start recording everything that I'm doing.
You
on
built
that, I
a
think.
room at like bedrock with like a bajillion furnaces for no reason.
That's for smelting when you're in there.
Whatever.
I really like stone brick.
Anyways, I'm just gonna cut you off now because I feel like this has gone on.
Yeah,
too
that
long.
sounds good.
You're not going anywhere. You're going in circles. Hey, Devin, what have you been playing this week? I bet it's similar.
No, I mean, sort of, but not really. So I have had a very, very small amount of time to actually play Minecraft this week. Because I've been very busy working on projects and chores and life and yard work and all that stuff.
Yeah.
However, I did have the time to make an entire video, which I'm excited about, and I'll get to that at the end of the thing. But the thing that I have been doing that is the most game like is I've been building a cube for Magic the Gathering. I built an entire cube, and I built it out on paper. So I wrote down all the cards that were going to be in it. I wrote down all 300 and some cards, and then I looked through our collections to find to find the cards that we have on hand, and I piled them into a giant pile, and there were some cards missing that weren't on the list, so I found replacements, and then I put them all onto a database, and I've just been slowly refining it, and that ate up like 2 whole days of my life this week. So it was far more fun to do that than play Minecraft for some reason, though. So I did that.
It's because you feel as though it's more valuable, worth value worth. That word.
Yeah. And then Minecraft-wise, I died in the Nether because the Nether is scary in that edition. I died to starving to death.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring food with you.
Yeah.
Really need to get a cow farm.
Yeah. But that's what happened. That's what I've played. I played the game of life.
Oh, the game of life. We're all playing that though.
Yeah.
True.
We're all playing the game of life. And someday we
And it's
will...
good for some. And Tech Brothers.
Though. I have a whole
Right.
$6 in cash. What do you have? Nothing. That's right.
I mean, technically I have $0 in cash. Depending on how you
plan
look
out an
at it.
entire budget. What? 3 months in a few months. A cooking book. I have a cooking book.
It's fine. I spent it all on this book of D&D recipes.
No, I have money.
Right. All right then. So that's
I
it.
also have a deck of many things. For my cousin. Anyway.
Devin,
Yep.
that's it for you. All right.
Totally.
Moving on to me. Oh boy, it's me. I bet you can't guess what I've been playing. That's right, nothing.
I saw that coming from a mile away.
Listen.
either
Honestly,
Dark
like
Souls
my
or
weeks
nothing.
my weeks have just been like weirdly busy, and I just still haven't. My room still needs a bit of renovation, and other stuff needs to happen. And I've just been doing a lot of other stuff.
No, yeah, that's fair.
I will say, though, ironically, even though I complain about the Minecraft talk, I actually have been playing Minecraft this week, so I might as well talk about it. Matthew vaguely mentioned this, but I was on a server with him in 1.6. And yes, it was very nostalgic for me. I was having a good time. It was nice to just go back and relive some old 1.6 memories, because it's like, oh man, the simple times. Because I do genuinely still like Minecraft to a degree. It's just kind of worn me out over all these years, so it was nice to have like a modicum of drive to play it again.
No, I think 1.6 is probably a lot more fun than the other editions.
Modicum, whatever that word is. Yeah, but I don't know if either of you have been on the server since I did stuff, but I
haven't been able to.
I literally played until about like 2 or 3 in the morning, which is something I haven't done in a very long time. I just kind of played for a while. And I know this is incredibly fun talk, but I built a farm.
Nice.
A really big auto farm with pistons and
Nice.
running water.
Cool.
So you pull a lever and water runs and destroys all the crops so you can pick them up. A design I invented myself because I did the math required to do it. I like math. Minecraft allows me to do math in fun ways.
I can't wait to see that on Tuesday.
Yeah, I did that, and then the next day I played a little bit more, and I just kind of felt, I'm not gonna say my drive was gone, but like it just kind of felt like I don't know what I'm doing. It just kind of did whatever. It's like I guess I could mine. I also died and lost like 40 levels, but I don't care that much. I didn't care that much about it. I got records. I found 3 records.
Wow.
I got a record from a creeper, and then I found 2 more in a zombie dungeon that I found.
Wow.
About probably only 50 blocks away from our base.
We need to make that into a grinder.
Yeah, there's also I don't know what it. Okay, this is something I will say. There are so many lava pits underneath our base for some reason. Like I literally, you know how there's that lava. We found a lava pit literally like 5 to 6 blocks underneath a pool of water, like a lava pool underneath a pool of water.
Yeah,
it was weird. I was like, I've never seen that before, and then I found another one. Like in the forest, like
weird,
not even that far away. I found a goddamn another one, and there's like a ton of underground water wells as well, all over the place. Like I don't know what it is about this generation in terms of Minecraft, but it's super weird.
Yeah, the old generation of Minecraft, the old world generation for Minecraft was very different.
Yeah, I know.
And by old, I mean pre 1.7. The caves generated far more caves.
Mm-hmm.
One reason I'm really excited for 1.17.
I also
1.18.
I've devolved into anecdotes. I also started a cow farm, not farm.
Oh,
cow.
nice.
But that doesn't really matter. Anyways, the main point is that I vaguely got back into Minecraft and I was having fun playing it. But I don't have much to detail. I still think Minecraft is a very good game, but my drive to play it has definitely gone away. Yeah, that's it for what we've been playing this week, I assume, unless somebody else has something to say, which they never usually do, even though I ask anyways. So we'll just move on to trailers. Move swiftly on to trailers. So the first trailer we have up today is, as I said before, for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, the official gameplay trailer. So let's see how that goes.
Ratchet and Clank! What a wonderful surprise!
What do you want, Nefarious?
We're going to a dimension where I always win!
Clank? Where am I? A Wombax? Who are you?
I'm Ribbit. Let's go for a ride.
Wait, I have to find my friend.
Emperor Nefarious, you have returned.
Yes! Emperor!
Clank.
Huh? You're Nefarious. He looks a lot like mine. Evil like him, too. And that Lombax.
I'm coming, Clank. If we do not get the Dimensionator now, we may lose every dimension. Oh, my.
And that was the gameplay trailer for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You can get it on June 11th. That's when it's being released. So now, I'm just gonna say before we get into anything else, both the YouTube compression and the screen share compression does not give you an accurate summary of how fucking beautiful this game looks. Like, it is ridiculous. It is like it's cartoony as all hell, and it looks almost basically like a fully animated movie in gameplay form. It looks great. The amount of like detail in the environment is crazy, but it also doesn't feel too busy, which we've discussed before about my thoughts on highly detailed environments. But the cartoon aesthetic and the fact that it's more Ratchet and Clank, which is one of my favorite series of all time, by Insomniac, one of my favorite developers of all time. I'm so fucking excited, man. Also, Devin, you're muted.
I was gonna say, yeah, the graphics look like they're like the perfect blend of really good graphics like good high-end graphics mixed with enough like restraint to make it so that there's still areas that are less important looking.
Yeah, I was gonna mention as well because I haven't sorry, I was playing a Crack in Time, Ratchet and Clank Crack in Time, which is not the the Ratchet and Clank game that came before this one. I guess technically in story terms it does. Basically, I remember thinking that Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time looked like gorgeous on PS3. And like I went back to it recently, I was like, oh man, just comparing these two is like comparing water to milk. It's like one is very clearly better.
Water, right?
Yes.
Okay.
One is still very good, but my God, it's so crystal clear and just looks amazing.
Wow.
But I have to address this. There was so the character Rivet was her name, the character Rivet. That is the first time we've officially heard her name since the game was announced, which might not seem like a big deal, but it kind of is because it was a big like meme and internet discussion for a long while because she appeared for exactly 1 second in the announcement trailer and has appeared a few times before that, but we haven't gotten a name until now. And I don't know, I think that's kind of interesting. Well, not just interesting, but also just kind of, you know.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Anyways, yes, Ratchet and Clank. For those of you who don't know, I feel like you know what I'm going to say. The audience knows it. These two don't. That's
I might know it. It's a really good game.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank is a series that dates back to the PS2. It was the game series that Insomniac did after Spyro. So it was their new mascot platformer series that has a heavy emphasis on weapon use. So it's basically a third-person action platformer shooter that has a heavy emphasis on the shooting part because of all the crazy fucking weapons that you can pick up. So the games have always been good to me anyways. I know like they're probably not for everybody, but they've always been one of my favorite series. And like just even comparing like they really have just come so far in terms of like the development of everything. I think this is a good, I feel like if you want to benchmark how far technology has come in terms of game design, just look at the first Ratchet and Clank game on the PS2 and then compare it to this one, and you'll just see, you'll get a good idea of how far things have come. Because the first Ratchet game still looks good. It's PS2. It has nice cartoony colors and stuff like that. But like, it just pales in comparison.
I appreciate how they are still keeping the scripts good. I hope.
Oh yeah, Nefarious is back. This is his third time being the main villain of the series, I believe. So yes, Nefarious is back after his defeat to once again try and take over the universe. God, I love Nefarious. He's one of my favorite villains in gaming. He's just so really funny. This is really, really funny. Anyways, I could just gush about Ratchet and Clank all day because it's one of my favorite series, but I probably shouldn't, because then I'm not making points. I'm just gushing about a series I like.
Yeah.
But
anyone can gush about a series, but not anyone can give a formulated, careful discussion that explores the nuances of why it's so good.
Yeah, I've been talking the whole time. What about you guys? And
Matthew
mention
Matthew should play a Ratchet and Clank game.
He should. He should.
It looks like a good game.
It's like the Lego games, but more skill. Like a lot more skill.
Okay. I'm just gonna. You can't just compare everything to Lego games. I know it's like one of your only points of reference.
No, Aaron. Third-person platformers are like Lego games.
No, they're not. All the Lego games have fixed cameras.
Okay.
And they're not necessarily full on platformers. Like there's a lot of 3D platformers, not to mention 3D platformers existed before the first Lego game of the variety we know now, the Star Wars one.
Look, Aaron, a lot of people have played Lego games. And if you say a game is a lot like the Lego games, they'll think, well, I enjoyed the Lego games. Maybe I'll enjoy this game. And I think that's a good line of logic.
All right.
That's all the logic I'm using, though. See this? This is my diploma.
No, it's
this
not.
is my diploma.
You don't have a diploma.
I actually do have a diploma. This is actually my diploma.
Right. Was it for?
That's not important, but it's an official state certified diploma.
Right.
What's it for though?
It shows that I passed the GED with flying colors on a couple of the things and middling colors on a couple of the things. But I got a 93% on one of them, so I'm really smart at that. Mm-hmm.
And you got a 30 on everything else.
No.
Right.
I got a 13 and I think a 60 and a 70. The 13 was in math.
All right then.
That's bad.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank. Anything else to say or mention?
If you enjoy Lego games, you would enjoy Ratchet and Clank. If you enjoy Ratchet and Clank, you are probably too old for Lego games.
Right. Okay. That's whatever. It's Ratchet and Clank. Like, that's a bad point to make.
If you know what Ratchet and Clank is, you'll know that this is this is a nicer looking Ratchet and Clank game.
I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to be great. I really have zero complaints about it right now because I've never played it. Which makes
out that Ricket. Wait, is her name Ricket or Ratchet? No, what's her name? Rivet.
The female Lombax that appeared in the trailer, the blue one. Or
turns out that she's
or
secretly
purple,
the villain.
I guess.
Turns out she's secretly the villain.
Nah. Well, I suppose it's possible given what they've already done in the series. It's possible. I'm not going to deny that fact, but I kind of doubt that's going to happen.
I know that with no hints, she's secretly, they're good writers. It would be really annoying if it's like, no, she's actually the villain. And bad guy dude is actually nefarious, is actually the good guy or has to be the good guy or some stupid.
No, nefarious is not going to be the good guy.
So
he's a cartoonishly mustache twirling villain. He's never going to be good.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite types of mustache twirling cartoony villain, which is the kind that just eats scenery. Like he chews up the scenery whenever he's on screen and he just fucking kills it.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But anyways, now that we've gotten through that, we'll move on to the next and final trailer of the day, which is for Hot Wheels Unleashed. And we'll get into you'll see.
Hot Wheels.
point. God, it's such a boring trailer.
This game looks extremely boring.
Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
this is what I was gonna say. Sorry, I wasn't. So yes, that was the trailer for Hot Wheels Unleashed, which it just looks so like drab and lifeless. Not to mention the trailers for it have been kind of boring.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know. This is big. I don't know. This is the first big like licensed Hot Wheels game I can think of that's come out in like a long time. I really can't think of any. Like, this has like some budget behind it.
Does it?
Yeah, that's why it looks like that.
It doesn't look like it has creativity behind it.
Oh, really? I never would have guessed. Yeah, it just kind of looked. I don't know how to put it specifically, but like my favorite. Okay, I love Hot Wheels. I do. I genuinely do love Hot Wheels. I have collected a lot over the years. Miniature cars. You probably see some back there. I love Hot Wheels. I love the tracks. I spent a lot of my childhood enjoying Hot Wheels quite a lot and making tracks and stuff like that. One of my favorite scenes. Never mind. But also, like, I'm possibly one of the only 20 people in existence who still remembers Hot Wheels World Race / Highway 35. If anybody else remembers that, which I know you two don't, because you probably never seen it. But I've always really loved Hot Wheels and just like miniature cars and stuff like that. So the idea of a racer that is, themed around this idea, you can have like all these crazy tracks. You can play around with the size difference between the cars and the environment. I mean, it reminds me of like an old Hot Wheels game. I don't even know, an old PC Hot Wheels game that was kind of like Micro Machines to a degree. Well, some of it was. It was basically how do you say it? On rails vehicle controlling game where the vehicle would just accelerate for you and you would just maneuver it around. But like, one of my favorite memories of that game is, excuse me, I wish I could remember what it was called, but wait a second. I might actually have the disc somewhere. Well, I'm not going to look for it right now, but basically,
why wouldn't you just have all the games that you're nostalgic of on a hand at all times?
Well, this is an old PC disc that doesn't even work.
I was joking.
Anymore
I was
because PCs
joking.
are too advanced for it to run properly.
Oh, that's funny.
Basically, what the point I'm getting to is that one of my favorite memories of Hot Wheels in terms of game form is this game that had a level where you were like going through like a garden, like literally like a backyard garden where people would plant things. So you had these like little tilled field that you'd go through, and it was like the backyard of some person's house, and you'd go up the orange track. The orange track was there as well, but you'd go up and around it, and it was like really crazy and weird. That's the kind of creativity and stuff I want out of a Hot Wheels game, because I mean, they're toys.
That is actually,
they're not trying to be realistic.
I know. My thinking is that they're going to add in a level builder.
Oh, they probably will, and that's the biggest sign that it's a lazy game.
No.
We can't make good levels. You make them for us.
No. They'll make levels. They'll add a level builder. They will keep it as simple and aesthetic as possible. And I actually really like that because it puts the focus on the gameplay and the mechanics specifically. And so the fact that it's boring is just because I'm not
looks
playing.
like your standard generic racer. Like, you have a boost, you have your cars, like nothing stands out about it.
It's a Hot Wheels game.
Just because it's licensed Hot Wheels, like, okay, if I took away the Hot Wheels licensing and showed this to you, do you think you would think, oh yeah, it's miniature cars racing on a track? No, would you think that? No.
Yeah.
Think
Oh.
you'd think, what are these, like, what, like, there's no, am I being crazy? Because I haven't seen any, like,
I would have thought that they looked like miniature cars racing on a track.
but it doesn't look like that. Like, there's nothing to compare the size to anything. It just kind of looks like they're on a big orange track.
Yes.
Like, I guess you
get
can
what
say
you
it's a
mean now.
cartoony racer, but maybe I'm just going insane, but I swear I haven't seen any, like, environment other than just the track. Am I going crazy? Was there
It
anything
went
in that
out in
trailer?
the sky
that
with
did-
like buildings in the sky and clouds.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, it just looks
Yeah.
kind of like a bare bones racer with limited UI because it's
Yeah.
obviously trying to be a children's game as well because it's a Hot Wheels license thing, but it just doesn't look very good.
Okay.
And it confuses me when I see people say like, "Oh, this looks pretty good." It's like, no, it doesn't.
I think it looks good. I think it looks good. I think it looks really boring, but I think it's the kind of game where once you actually sit down and play it a bit, it's more enjoyable. And it's the kind of thing that I
Also,
think
like, okay, so I
fun
know
to
it's
sit down and
hard
play.
to infer how something controls through a screen when you can't handle something, but it doesn't look at least that fun to control.
that is probably true.
Like, it
I
doesn't
have to leave in like
look
4 minutes, by the
like
way.
what?
I have 4 minutes.
All right, but yeah, at least in terms of like, it just doesn't look fun to control. Like, it doesn't look like the cars have very much weight to them, or like, I don't know, anything regarding that. But yes, that was the trailer for Hot Wheels, whatever it was called. What was it called?
Unleashed, I think.
Hot Wheels Unleashed. That's right. A somewhat boring
That's even a
trailer
boring
for a
title.
somewhat boring game. So that was the trailers for the week. Moving on to, or just that was an abrupt ending. Yes. Anything else to say before we move on?
No.
All right. In that case, we'll swiftly move on to host topics now.
I've been trying to think of one since the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
I can't.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Mhm.
Hey, at least I'm trying to think of one. You know? At least I'm trying to think of something. I forgot to do it earlier this week.
Right. Okay. What about you, Devin?
I don't have a host topic today. I'm sorry. I have host topics like every other week.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. Matthew, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, and then we'll see what you come up with.
Wait, I got a host topic.
But
Do you think that how do you think libraries renting out loaning
I feel
out
like
games
we've had this discussion
sales?
before.
I don't think I have ever had this discussion with anyone
Affect sales?
or affect the gaming in just the gamingness.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure how often people rent games from libraries anymore, especially during the COVID times. But maybe they rented them fairly. Like, it's not like they
People
have a
still rent
wide
stuff from the
selection
library
of
during-
games, anyways. If anything, if they have like somewhat rare games, it probably helps, or to some degree. I don't know, like, I'm not sure how that would play into like the selling factor, because I highly doubt it affects sales very much, because you'd have to hope that a new game somehow gets into the library.
That's true. it could affect sales of old games. No, actually, I don't think it affects sales at all.
No, it probably doesn't affect sales at all. But I thought you were gonna ask me like if games belonged in a library, which they do.
Yes, they do. We have had that discussion.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna.
I mean, they are like there are games on like the Library of Congress and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you think of a library. If you think of a library of a place where, like, knowledge and fiction or what have you is preserved, then yes. But if you think of a library as a place where books go, then no. It's like, but yeah, I don't think it would affect the sales that much though. And yes, also games do belong in a library, but whatever. I guess that wasn't even a discussion, but it was an anecdote. It was an anecdote. Matthew, your 5 seconds are up.
Nothing.
Okay. In that case,
I'll try to remember to think about it more this week.
It's once a week, man. It's not that hard.
I know, but I do things.
Like what?
There are chores. There's like what?
Matthew, I have a question for you. Is it physically impossible for you to think about something as you do chores?
No, I just forget to think about it. It's mainly remembering to think about it after the podcast ends.
Okay, whatever.
If you could send me a reminder.
Okay, I gotta go. Go.
We'll get to you in a second. So we'll also just say, don't fucking leave yet. We'll also just say that, yeah, I don't have a host topic either because I've already explained why I don't have to host topic every week. But there you go. And with that, moving onwards to the news. And like I said, let's get right into the news. So, the first bit of news we have today, I was just quickly going through these again, but okay, so okay, so Activision has sorry, what the fuck's going on? First bit of news for today is the fact that Activision has put Toys for Bob, the Crash Bandicoot 4 developer, on Call of Duty Warzone development duty. And which basically means that they've basically attached a ball and chain to the studio and threw away the key into a river. So they're never getting out of this, probably. But specifically speaking, that so with this decision to put Toys for Bob on Warzone development has come with the fact that several team members of Toys for Bob have left the studio because they don't want to be a part of that development anymore, because who the fuck would? And I will say, yeah, that's the end of an era. Yeah, so that's that as well. Onto this, I will say, also this news comes after the Activision's announcements that Warzone has like 1 million players and is possibly one of the most successful fucking money machines ever. But this is just how Activision is sometimes. Yeah, they're doubling down on the Call of Duty expense of other franchises.
Goat cheese. Goat cheese.
Don't forget about this. Also comes off the news that Vicarious Visions was what's the term? Dissolved into Blizzard to work on the Diablo 2 remake. Yeah, it also seemed like the majority of Activision studios are now working on Call of Duty. Infinity Ward, Triarch, Sledgehammer, Raven, Beanox, High Moon, and now Toys for Bob all continue to like franchise. That's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What the fuck? 7 different development studios working on Call of Duty right now. Yeah, also the Crash Bandicoot 4 sold exclusively on Battle.net, which a lot of people weren't thrilled about. Get back in this. We're proud as far as look forward to more to come. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, California-based Toys for Bob appears to have suffered staff exits as part of the shift. Like character designers and other people. That. So, yeah, Activision declined the statement when asked about this. I'm vaguely rambling, but basically Activision has once again decided to be massive dickheads and put out of commission a very talented studio for the sake of Call of Duty.
Nice.
Which, I mean, this is just kind of how Activision works. Like Activision's main business model is essentially to take anything that's vaguely successful and run it into the ground until it no longer is. They did it with the Tony Hawk franchise. They did it with Guitar Hero. They did it with Skylanders. They're doing it with COD, Spider-Man, just basically any series that was even vaguely successful. They have run into the ground and milked dry. And every studio that was a part of that is also just, now part of COD development. Like, seriously, it literally like 7 different development studios on one game. Isn't that a little excessive?
Maybe.
And most of it's probably
yeah.
just for like bug fixes and microtransaction bullshit. Back into my angry mode now, because God, all 3 pieces of news we have today is just fucking anger inducing. It's just fucking what also, yeah, this also basically means that both the Spyro and Crash trilogy have gone back into the ether of nothingness. Because Toys for Bob did the Spyro Reignited trilogy and also did Crash 4 development. So now that they are full-time COD developers, basically any hope of a new Spyro game is gone again. So, that's pretty interesting. It's not interesting. It's anger inducing because fuck Activision. It might seem like I'm a little more angry than I should be, but it's also anger in anticipation for the next 2 articles that we're going to look at. So maybe I'm a little harsher than I should be about this particular one, but all of my anger is very much warranted once we get to the end of the news. But yeah, like people have left. Anyways, you get the point. Anything to say? Or you know what? I gave you both the article. You should have fucking read it.
I just don't understand this stuff.
Okay, what about you, Devin? I know you have a dog.
I cannot read the articles because I have 2 Discords and I only can log into one of them.
According to...
I can't log into either of them right now, though.
I'm just saying, according to when I click on your thing and I go to your whatever, I can click on mutual servers, and the one that's part of this server is also a part of the other ones. So it's the correct one that you have been logging into with Sad Boy. Because I checked it because I know you had problems with that. So I checked it and it's like, oh, he can actually log into this one. Anyways. Presumably, anyways. Okay. Just what? Okay. I've explained the situation to you. Anything to comment on?
No. I mean, it seems a little bit hard to coordinate 7 studios working on one game. So,
Yeah, they're down in the mines of Call of Duty development. Okay. Yeah, that's Warzone. Well, specifically Call of Duty Warzone, which is their most recent thing, which is basically their big cash cow of renewable revenue, of microtransactions, all of the works, all the things that make the gaming industry worse. Okay, then. I guess we'll just move on to the next bit of news. More anger-inducing news, to be perfectly honest. The first one is like really anger-inducing, but the next one is probably even more so, because it's not just a development studio being, at least that development studio is probably being paid very well. Here we have, which is the CD Projekt Red, the executives are getting very large bonuses despite the mess that was Cyberpunk 2077's launch, and other things regarding false advertisement in terms of its actual advertisement, as well as just like its launch was a mess. Literally the game did not work on older gen consoles, so everybody who got it on the older gens just got refunds for it. So there's that. Also, other stuff in regards to that. Usually rocket launch. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of 2027 that had a very rocky launch last December.
yeah, I know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks because of all the pre-orders, the game still sold like 13.7 million copies, helping Cyberpunk, CD Projekt make over 215 million in profit last year. And yeah, but apparently some analysts were expecting more money, expecting the game to perform better than this. Yeah, so some of the developers, a part of the team, were expecting bigger bonuses than what they got. And meanwhile, the executives are getting like gigantic bonuses. Like the fucking, I'm just going to read you the, so according to CD Projekt Red statement via Bloomberg, a total of 29.8 million is being split between 865 employees, averaging at around 34K per employee. Bloomberg notes there were also some smaller performance bonuses for stuff earlier this year. In terms of how that money is actually being split, Bloomberg reports that some employees are receiving bonuses of 5,000 to 9,000, with more senior employees getting closer to 15K or 20K. Five members of the CD Projekt Red executive board, the guys that don't do anything and just sit around on money, meanwhile, are receiving bonuses totaling 28 million. You notice the jump?
Yeah, a little bit.
Fucking dumbasses. God, I hate them. Okay. As detailed in the company's recent annual report,
salaries.
Board members Marcus Ewing and Adam Kaczynski are each receiving a bonus of 3.6 million, while director Adam Bronowski is receiving 4.2 million. So the executive did take a financial hit on their shares. Yeah, they did take a financial hit because the release was a debacle, but that didn't do fuck all to their actual money. Other appropriate spread. Surely, efforts. Yeah, auxiliaries. Nice. Okay, so the other thing about this is that you might be thinking, oh, well, that's still not that bad of money, but the money that these developers were getting, this is not like a year. This was not a yearly salary or a yearly bonus. This was the bonus they all got at the end of Cyberpunk 2077's development, which was like technically 7 or 8 years, and that's all they get, while the fucking executives who did fuck all I'll tell you what the executives did. They made the game, they rushed the game and made it worse. That's all they did. They crunched the developers to make the game come out faster. They, wanted the game to come out sooner. They made it come out in an unfinished state, making the launch terrible. If it had actually come out in a decent state, the developers would have gotten more money because it would have not been such a fucking shitty release, debacle of a release. And like that's no. Not to mention that it even said lower, some cute lower staff members or Q&A testers were getting even less money and stuff like that. And it's like, God. What is even the point? What am I doing? I don't know. What's the point? I just don't understand. I know neither of you care or have anything to mention, but fuck me, man. Yeah, so choosing to delay the launch. Yeah, okay. But it's fucking CD Projekt Red's just in general is a pretty shitty company at this point. Like, in terms of their actual what's the term? Quality, they peaked with The Witcher 3, and everything after that went massively downhill. Because The Witcher 3 exists in its own realm of like people working on something they wanted to work on because it was a passion project, and it didn't have many or much like thing go wrong with it. Fast forward to now, Cyberpunk 2077 has been in development technically for like 8 years, and it was still rushed out the door.
Wow.
Yeah. I just also, I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna get into crunch really quickly, because crunch is literally like mandated crunch is still just such a terrible thing, because you're not working, like, it's not good. It's not good.
I'm so glad that Mojang is not crunching 1.18 and 1.17.
Oh, they're a decent
and clips.
development studio.
Yeah,
But
they play the game they're making.
Mention something about crunch, because like I've mentioned how it's terrible, and I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I've mentioned how it's terrible and stuff like that. But like, I'm sure there are some people like, oh, it's like, I get that it's bad, like on the body and stuff, but you've never really said why or specifically how. It's like, well, I'll tell you how. A few months, maybe even a year ago at this point, during some, no, it definitely wasn't a year ago. Basically, during some Ubisoft malarkey, in terms of Ubisoft had like a big leak, essentially, that where it was revealed that their working environment wasn't the best. It was very stressful, and there was some other relatedness to that, but I don't quite remember. But one of the things about that is that it was revealed that they crunched a lot of the development steam, and I just like, so have either of you ever heard of the term, what is it? It's a stress casualty.
That sounds like dying from stress.
Stress casualty. God, I hope that's the correct word, because I'm pretty sure it is. But so a stress casualty is something where somebody physically cannot continue. Like, they have like okay, basically in two sort of Ubisoft, like, oh, people, they were using the term stress casualty to refer to people who literally had like breakdowns and could not continue because of the stress and overworking. That was a Ubisoft thing. But I just want to point out, if you've never heard of the term before, it's an existent term that's used in the military. It's used for soldiers, you know, soldiers who have stress casualties. And the cherry on top of that is the fact that the reason it's used, it like, if you have a stress casualty, it can have like early onset, like, God damn, my words are failing me. So it's a term that's used in the military, and it's called a stress casualty for a reason, and it can what is it? It's like an early sign of PTSD, essentially. Like, if you're having stress casualties, it's like an early sign that you can develop PTSD. Something you used in what working environment? Fuck me. Okay, I'm gonna move on now to the last thing before I get too angry to even say words anymore. But yes,
yeah, that seems like a good idea.
That's CD Projekt Red, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. The other thing, there's a couple words that I've wanted to say this entire time, which is regarding to money. So, Activision Blizzard boss Bobby Kotick takes a 50% pay cut to his salary, but could still earn a lot of money in bonuses. So I'm just going to say this. So Bobby Kotick's salary before he took a 50% cut was 1.75 million a year from his base salary. He will now earn 875,000 a year. He's the fucking CEO of Blizzard. So yeah, that's a very large amount of money for one man to have. But yeah, he took a 50% salary cut, but he could still earn a lot of money through bonuses. And it's just like, yeah, Kotick can still earn an annual bonus of up to 200% his base salary, assuming he meets certain targets.
I mean, that's so little money. Rich people need more money.
Which is a potential reaction.
If he actually does something.
Yeah. So this is something I wanted to say. Yeah. Last month, Kotick was criticized by CTW, an investment company that holds directors accountable for irresponsible, unethical corporate behavior and excessive executive pay over the amount he earned. CTW claimed Kotick is set to earn nearly 200 million in a stock bonus, although Activision has said the total amount has yet to be decided. Haha, sure, whatever. Kotick's new pay packet reflects shareholder feedback. Stress Kotick, Activision market capitalization has increased from less than 10 million to over 70 billion with an 8,100% increase in shareholder return between 2000 and 2020. So according to the shareholders under Kotick's what's the term? I was going to say reign, but it's not a reign. It's a what is the term? Management, I guess. He's increased the profits at Activision by a shit ton. Warzone owned, 1 million players, copies. Anyways. The company, that's right. The other thing about Activision is that the company behind Call of Duty, specifically Activision, is closing a bunch of European offices that include like did you know that Activision owns Candy Crush's developer?
I didn't.
King something.
I did know that Candy Crush was owned by one of the big companies.
Player blah blah. What is it called? I can't. King. That's right, King. The Candy Crush developers King. So yeah, Activision also laying off a bunch of people at different offices and companies around Europe and UK because they want to focus more on a single location. So a bunch of people are getting laid off because of that. Specifically, people from Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush is losing all its publishing offices to Europe as part of a reorganization. UK told their jobs now at risk and could face redundancy if it cancellation. Anyways,
None of this is stuff that I know information about, unfortunately.
oh yeah, this is, oh my god, I forgot about this. So a lot of people are like basically going to get their jobs, they lose their jobs because of redundancy. Their jobs might become redundant after they reorganize stuff. And the people that, the news comes after Activision Blizzard announces layoffs in the US tied to live events, esports. The affected workers will receive a minimum of 90 days severance and health benefits for a year, Bloomberg said, as well as a job transition support and a $200 gift card for Battle.net, which is just the stupidest thing in the fucking world. Who? I'm sorry, but like, okay, Battle.net is a Activision Blizzard owned like game distribution thing that has a bunch of their games on it, like Overwatch and a few others, like that card game that they made as well. But like they get these people that got laid off and have they're getting job transition support apparently, but they're getting a $200 gift card for Battle.net of all fucking things.
It's okay. They're a different class. They're a different breed of society.
Anyways, the thing I wanted to say is that who needs this much money? Bobby Kotick is set for literally several lifetimes.
Here's the thing that you're not thinking of, Aaron. You're thinking of it as a normal person. He is one of those hyper elites that needs enough money to be able to compete with the other hyper elites.
But what's
they have
point
more
of having the money?
Because you want to have more houses than the other people who have too many houses. Then you're in the
Bobby Kotick has enough money to support himself, his children, and their children for several generations.
Wait, how much money is that?
Like,
how much?
Sorry, I need to get the thing. But like, he has so much fucking money.
He probably doesn't have enough for generations.
What's his name again?
Bobby
Kotick. He was getting a salary of 1.7 million a year before he took a 50% cut. But he still could get but he could still get a massive 200 million bonus in stock if he does something. It doesn't detail what he has to do to get that, but probably not much.
Okay.
Anyways, the point. Okay, let's ignore Bobby Kotick. But I don't understand the mentality of wanting this much money. Like,
I do.
What are you gonna do with it?
Buy a ton of magic cards. If I had that much money, I would just buy so many magic cards and I just give them away to people.
But
he apparently has a net.
I just don't understand. Like, they have so much money. They're set for life. Several lives, actually.
He apparently has a net worth of 600 million.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just fucking, I don't understand. Who needs that much money? Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but
I don't know.
Man.
Okay. No one. I mean, I guess the only people who would need that much money is anyone who's using it for like a vital thing. Like if there's like a bunch of industrial, if there's like a industrialization, if there's like a contingency for a famine or something, then that could be
like
useful.
I just don't understand, like, because when I think of having money, like, I just don't understand where there's clearly a difference between mentalities if that's the case, because when I think of having money, it's like, yes, I spend money on things I enjoy or just want, but like, I've never had, like, if I had
Aaron?
that much money, yes, I probably would spend it on things I want, but I also probably, like,
Aaron,
what's the point of the excess?
imagine all of those things behind you. Do you see behind you? Do you see all that stuff behind you?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
gathered that over like several, I don't know, like not just several years, but like basically my entire life.
Imagine,
And
each
that's
of those
not.
costs. I know, but
That's
imagine
just
each of those
but
costs.
that's just excess. That's
I know,
the
but
whole point.
imagine if that cost a lot more. If it cost $10,000 per book or whatever,
it
and they were actually different
doesn't.
things like cars. I know, but I'm saying it's the same kind of mentality where it's like I can just collect a little bit more stuff.
I became curious, so I looked at Bill Gates's net worth.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
90 something
fucking
trillion,
shit.
90 something.
130 billion.
Yeah, they keep going up. The billionaires have gone up more rapidly in the past 2 or 3 years. I think it's just been the past 2 years than they have in a while. Like
That's too much money.
last year, whatever. In 2019, the richest guy was Bezos, and he was at 90 billion. And now there's even more rich with money. But that's not real money. That's public trust value. It's a slight difference. His money is tied into Amazon.
Okay.
It's a little bit
I don't know, man.
He still has more money than anyone could possibly spend.
The rich are possibly the most alien people on the planet. It really feels
What?
like it sometimes. You know what I mean?
I know a billionaire, dude. And he's a very
Okay.
nice guy. And he's a billionaire because he made a company and it got really successful.
But doesn't
And so he's using his money as effectively as he can. He's not giving it away to random
yeah,
people.
but that's
He's charitable causing it. Yeah, he's using it for charity.
Donating it?
For charity. Well, yeah, donating it to charities and using it for charity. He's a good guy, and he's just a normal person. Like he's almost a normal person, but he's like really tall and really charismatic. So he's a nice guy.
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
we have a
the
picture
thing.
of him standing next to Francis.
I'm just saying. My point is that like the reason I say that is because it just I can't comprehend the mentality that drives you to want that much. I just don't get it.
You're not greedy enough, Aaron.
Like I physically cannot comprehend why somebody
can.
would want or need that much money.
Hedonism, frivolity. They make a lot of bills to pay.
But whatever. You know what? Fuck it. This is not about games anymore. Anyways.
What? I didn't think about.
Look, I'm so fucking red in the face. Look at me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on because it's just me shouting at nothing. Because
Okay.
neither of you have anything valid or important to say on the matter.
I said something valid. I think I totally understand why people want money. I don't think there are good reasons. I think it's mostly just greed and wanting frivolity and not seeing the harm in it because you don't really see the good that you could be doing. You just see the stuff that you want and the fact that you can pay for it. That kind of thing.
Anyways.
I mean, I don't.
Okay.
It's certainly aggressive.
I know we already technically went through host topics, but I'm just saying, in the time between then and now, has
I have
somebody
a host
come up with
topic.
a host topic?
I have a host topic.
All right.
You're not gonna like it, or you might like it.
Lay it on me.
Ready? I'm gonna use the proper word, but it's also there are other ways of saying it. But the diversification of characters in media.
Are you talking about forced diversity?
I'm talking about any level because I think most people agree that forced diversity is generally bad because it doesn't really add anything to the game except just characters that are
different genders and races and whatever, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
But I think there is a place for diversity in games. I just don't know if it's. I don't know what the some of the things to be careful about.
So we'll think about it like this.
Yeah.
These people exist. Therefore, they should exist in games if they are trying to mimic real life or just life in general. A lot of games try to mimic real life in terms of, the general sense of real life. But should those people, you should avoid stereotyping them, right? So like, if there's stereotype. Here's the thing.
If there's an
here's the thing about stereotypes. You don't want
him running a 7-Eleven in all of your video games.
What?
That kind of thing.
What did you say?
If you have an Indian character in your game, you don't want him running a 7-Eleven or speaking with an Indian accent all the time, or eating curry. I don't know what Indian stereotypes are other than that. But like, you don't want to stereotype your characters when you put them in, but you also want their history to matter somewhat, right?
Their quote unquote history. Like, here's the thing. A lot of it boils down to, especially in games where you can choose your character, a lot of it boils down to just these people exist, therefore they choose to play people that look like them. That's fine and fair and whatever. But when it comes to creating a story-based game of any kind, or just single player or what have you, that doesn't have that kind of thing, it really comes down to it has to be natural. And what I mean, say natural, I mean, it just comes as is. It's like, I made, it's like, oh, this character is black. Why? Because it's basically like, it's not that complex of an issue. It basically comes down to, these people are like this because they're like this. I didn't consciously make a decision because I wanted diversity. I just did it because they exist.
And I didn't go to the end of the project and go like, oh shoot, there isn't this thing in there. I need to just
stuff like that as well. Okay. And it's like
then on that note, do you think that if they make a reboot of an old Indiana Jones game, should they add an ethnically diverse cast of characters that wasn't in the movie in order to make the game more diverse? If they do it,
mean, aren't that many good Indiana Jones games, to be perfectly honest with you. Honestly, the Lego game is probably the best Indiana Jones game that's ever existed. Yeah. Unfortunately.
It's not even one of the best Lego games.
But like, I mean, you also have to think of it like there are products of their time. And it's not like Indiana Jones as a franchise, like it takes place in like the 1930s and 40s as of a adventurer, a teacher / archaeologist who goes around finding ancient artifacts that are like biblical items that are actually real.
Yeah.
And like,
and it had some diversity in the cast.
I mean,
it wasn't just the white guy and then a bunch of white people.
I mean, like, I know a lot of people when they think diversity think, oh, people with a skin color other than white. But diversity just means people of different ethnicities. Like, take, for instance, Indiana Jones 3. They go to Venice, Italy, and a lot of the main cast is not American.
Yeah.
Aside from Indiana Jones himself.
I didn't even think of that. That's
like
a good point.
the main villainess, who's also kind of on the side of indie, but also not, is I can't remember. I think she's supposed to be Venetian. Yes. Or at least Italian, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I've watched the movie. I don't quite remember. But you also have like Germans, because obviously Nazis, but they're supposed to be Nazis, so it's whatever. But you also have like Sulla, who is like Arabic, I believe. Like that's Sulla,
the first movie, right?
Yeah, he's in the third one as well.
Oh.
Sulla is like an Arabic. We meet his family in the first film, and he's not presented as lesser. He's not presented as lesser than the main character or in any other way besides just a friend that's helping.
Yeah, no, he's just introduced as a person.
Like
and
the
everyone-
only time anybody is presented as lesser is when the Nazis are on screen, which makes sense because they're the villains and they're fucking Nazis. Like that's the only time I can really think. Like even the female cast, like Miriam beats the shit out of a couple people and uses guns as well.
Actually, a pretty good movie.
Yeah, like Indiana Jones is great.
I mean, as far
The
as
one
diversity
that a
stuff,
lot
it's
of
pretty
people
good.
point to as racist is Indiana Jones 2, the Temple of Doom. But it's not really, because
No.
it's just kind of taking like this idea of a religion, like because that sort of thing did exist.
Yeah.
Not like the over the top pulling people's hearts out thing, but that like the evil god they worship was an actual evil god that was worshipped by this subsect of people. So, you know, it happens, and it's not like any of the like
it's not like their race
yes,
was
a lot
making
of a lot of the villains are of darker skin color, but they're in India. And they're dealing with you know, an evil cult.
And what if it's not like the evil cult is going to just be white.
Honestly, the biggest thing you could argue that's actually kind of racially insensitive is the food scene when they eat a bunch of weird shit. But even then, it's like, I'm pretty sure not the monkey brains. That's really over the top. But like eating snakes and stuff, like that's pretty common.
Yeah. The monkey brains was so funny though.
It is like I've never heard of people eating monkey brain. I've heard of people eating sheep's brain and other types of brain, but not monkey.
Have you heard? Do you go to India and look around at the cuisine?
I've never been to India.
Maybe that's why you haven't heard of it.
I mean, fair, but I don't know. I feel like there's a line that I'm not isn't there kind of a line where the closer something is to a human, the we don't eat it because it's a little closer to us? Isn't that kind of a line? Anyways.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that much of a problem.
Anyways, but the point I'm making is also because like it's just a natural inclination. You know, it's just there isn't anything wrong with diversity. Diversity is welcomed because it allows people to play and feel and you know, like just project themselves onto people of the same color they are. And it's not like, you know, it's just a nice thing.
So do you think that it would be interesting to do female reboots of various things, but actually do them well? Do you think it'd be a good idea?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Using Ghostbusters 2016 as an example.
No.
That's really the only one that's done it, though.
Oh, but it did it badly.
Exactly.
No, and it's not a video game.
I'm talking about
video games.
In terms of a like female all female reboot of something.
Yeah.
When you go out of your way to do that, it's kind of like that. Like, why did you make it like this? Well,
rather than just making a normal.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's not its own property. It's a remake of something. You remade it.
Yeah.
So it's this. Why did you do that? If your answer is just because I could, it's not necessarily a bad answer, but it's confusing because, especially like, Indiana Jones isn't exactly a period piece, but you know, if you made Indy a female, it would complicate some of the movie's plot structure.
Would it?
Well, a little bit, yeah. It takes place in the 1930s.
Okay.
Especially the second film. But all I'm saying is that
that would complicate some things.
Yeah, a little bit, especially for people who shout about realism, which is a weirdly large amount of people for some reason. I mean, did you see like people were shouting about realism in Call of Duty or Battlefield World War I or Call of Duty World War I, where they had a one-armed, like a Have you seen this?
I've seen
The cover art of the
yeah.
girl was like, okay, so there's a female at war and she has like no arm on one hand, but it's like a wood replacement with a hook or something. And it's like, yeah, no. The people that got really upset about that were people who cried about realism because it's based on the World War.
Yeah.
Which honestly, fair play to them. Like that's a historical event that happened.
Like if you want to have a game where you have a person who's missing an arm and has a cyber leg and whatever, and they're in or whatever. If you, I get that. If you want to have a character like that, you can, and it's a real person, and it's a real person that was actually in that war, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt that would exist because I don't. Yeah.
I mean, there have been prosthetics for a long time. The problem in this particular case is that I'm pretty sure she was on the box art and was like a big thing in the advertising. At least it seemed that way to some degree because of, but like her fake arm was literally just like a wooden thing with a hook on it. It wasn't like a proper hand. It was like a metal hook or something.
Well, you could still fight a war like that.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, it still comes down to realism and representation of the war. Nobody was like that, or at least not to my knowledge. At least there weren't any like females fighting on the front lines with machine guns and leather denim or whatever the fuck she was wearing.
There was actually an archer who fought in World War II.
Honestly, the World War One is
Or
like
World War
one of the most
Wait.
interesting wars to
Good.
me. I know you're saying World War II, which is cool, but like I think World War One is one of the most interesting wars to me because it was basically the first. It was the last it was basically the first war where nobody knew what they were doing, because it was one of the first modern wars. So it was the last implementation of horses and swords and stuff like that in combat. There was a lot of tech. There's a lot of tech that technically existed but was never used, like army, like flamethrower suits, which was pretty cool. Also just a lot of historical weirdness about the war. I think it's really interesting. Anyways,
World War II. Okay, phew.
Anyways, moving forward with this, all I'm saying, and I think the point stands as well, that like
Diversity in games is pretty good.
Yeah, when diversity becomes an issue is when it's literally token diversity. Like we did this because we wanted to look good, which is a thing. Like a lot of companies and people do this. They do things just because they want to look good to the public or something similar. You know, token diversity, where it's like we hired a black woman just so we can say we have one.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. And it really, like, the only people that see that and like, oh, good job, are the fucking idiots on Twitter that cry about nothing all day. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is like, I see what you're doing, and that's really shitty.
And then even the person who just got hired, they're like, wait, I thought you hired me because I know what I'm doing. It's like, no, you're just checking boxes. And it's like, that's insulting.
It fucking is. It really fucking is. But yeah. Anyways, where was I? Yes, just token diversity is never good because it just implies you did this for the sake of getting like a clap from the world, and just forced diversity when it is unnecessary as well. Like in, well, I guess technically 2016 Ghostbusters is a good example of forced diversity because like
They're female. No, just kidding.
it's not even that. It's kind of like that whole, like, honestly, that film is really weird. Like, have you seen it recently?
I haven't seen it at all. I didn't want
Really?
to watch it.
That like I've rewatched bits and pieces of it recently, and it's like, God, that film is so bad and weird.
It looked like it just wasn't as funny as
It's
the
not
original.
very
The original
funny
had
at
some
all.
problems too.
Like, also,
with the
none of the
humor.
characters feel unique, really. Like, they have
Yeah.
one fun character doesn't even really get that much dialogue or have anything going for her. The main villain is literally like the most stupid, edgy guy. He's literally like, I'm angry at the world, therefore I shall destroy it. It's like he's not threatening the slightest. He kills himself to become a ghost, and then he turns into their logo and fights them. It's not even a joke. He literally turns into the sack ghost from their logo.
Okay.
Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah, that movie's really weird and bad. Moving forward, I don't know where I am anymore, man. I just keep rambling about nothing.
So,
anyways, I guess
we could finish off with you giving an example of a really good thing in which they did a diversity thing very well without like it being like it was just there's diverse characters, but there's reasons for them to be there, and it's not token. I know one. I can think of one right now.
All right. Let me think for a second. I guess through my things. Let me think. There's a lot of games I've played. I need to go through my backlog. Ironically, like Zelda Breath of the Wild comes to mind to a degree, because like Zelda has the advantage that there are actual different races with like different looks and things, but even with among the like just general populace you meet, it's pretty diverse and stuff that happens. But like otherwise, like their races are like not like the more humanoid ones, like specifically the Gerudo, like they're pretty diverse in their own way. But I guess other than that though, why don't you say yours while I'm trying to think of things.
That Ratchet and Clank game that we saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got the sense that they put a female version of Ratchet in because they wanted to see the way that the characters bounce off each other. And that was their primary reason wasn't we're going to put a female Ratchet thing in. It was that we want the relationship to be a male character and a female character. And we don't want it to be a romantic relationship, hopefully.
Probably not. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's him from an alternate universe.
Yeah, we want to see what a female
or at the very least, alternate universe daughter, possibly. Here's the thing. Cool. I listened to the voice of her and I was like, she sounds younger than Ratchet. Like, not just even with like she's a feminine voice, but she also sounds younger than Ratchet. It's like, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, I liked the way they did that. It didn't feel like it was pushing anything. It just felt like it didn't feel like it didn't feel like that. And then in addition, it felt like they really had other reasons for it. And it was all really like subtle. So I had to infer that, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna say the reasons why they made a female character.
Yeah, but
it didn't feel tokeny, which I mean it's one character, so it's not like it's an entourage cast.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah. That's fair. That's a fair thing, though. I mean, I guess the whatchamacallit. I've played too many games, man. What was I playing recently that I could drive through them? Like, I was surprised that you brought up Ratchet and Clank, actually, to a degree. Not well, it's like it's not the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of like representation to a degree, because it's like of its setting and world.
No, there's no real humans there exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna look at my, fucking Dark Souls.
Yeah, I would
like the Souls series as a whole, basically. Like most of the characters are like all of the characters are from different lands, and they all have different. I guess most of them are Nordic.
Shadowrun.
Which one?
All of them.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, Souls though, because it has like you have all these different characters with different accents and different looks and personalities, and they're all informed pretty well. A lot of the characters you can't necessarily see the face of, but because of their suffix, you know where they're from, so you can infer what they look like. Like, well, we remember on the character select screen where you have like the different lands, and the Jubilant Katarina is like, black. Jubilant Katarina. Like you meet a couple Katarina's fucking people from Katarina in the game series. So you can you never see their face per se, but you can infer what they look like based on other things. And also it's just, a general thing. Because there's a lot of different, even on not just like diversity in that way, but diversity in terms of female characters. There's quite a few there as well that are doing really well. Like what is her name? Sieglind. This is a character neither of you have met. She's really cool, and she's basically the only character in the world that isn't an undead. So, well, not in the world, but she's one of the only characters in the game that you meet and talk to that is not an undead. So she is doing everything that you're doing and isn't an undead. Wow. So she can die once and never again. And she's just an absolute badass because of it.
By the way, I think another game that does a good job at diversity stuff, which is sort of cheating, is The Sims.
Oh, I mean, I guess, yeah, that is kind of cheating, but
yeah.
I mean, any game that kind of has a character creation system is basically like, we have the whole spectrum.
We have every character.
We have
everything
you could ever want. Matthew, are you bored? Why are you bored, Matthew?
I'm just listening.
All right then. But yeah.
I hope we don't make anyone upset at us. That would be
no.
sad.
We haven't said anything that's too out there aside from the truth, which sometimes gets on people's nerves.
Now just start saying offensive things about video
Pineapple
games.
ice cream is the best flavor of Jim Sock.
And it goes well on pizza.
Fucking weirdo. Yeah.
As the dough.
At my game wall. This is the most pathetic thing ever.
Fat.
Anyways,
Fat.
what'd you say?
I said this shirt makes me look fat.
Not really.
Yes,
All right.
it does.
Yes, just ending on that. Just like we talked about for a good while there. I don't know. We're kind of, if we keep, I feel as though if we keep talking, we'll just be like running in circles to a degree and naming things that do diversity well. But that's fine.
That's fun.
But also so like finishing thoughts, just like finishing whatever, so we can move on.
Diversity good, forcing it bad, because you make people think diversity bad. If you do diversity really badly, people start being like, "Oh, diversity is so annoying," and then you're just like, "No, it's not. Just the way that people keep doing it is annoying."
Yeah, honestly, you said it very eloquently. I'll tell you that. You said it very eloquently. But just to reiterate to a degree, yes, forced diversity is never good because it just creates a scenario in which you have people being angry that these characters are like this, and also just people being angry at the companies for basically attempting to just get a high five from society. Good diversity comes at no cost to yourself. Literally, good diversity is all in just the process of making things. Yeah. People exist, therefore they can exist in your projects. It doesn't have to be a thought process or put really any, unless you're trying to seriously represent a specific type of community or background of people, you don't really have to put any more thought into it other than they're there.
A little bit of thought into it.
Well, it's the same kind of thought you put into putting into a white character being in the game. It's just like, if they're a background entity, they're there because then
if they're a main character, then they'll have more.
If they're a main character, their skin color doesn't necessarily matter, depending on here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about characters. no particular feature matters about them unless it ties into the story.
That's a good point.
So they can be fucking anything.
The guy
And
could
as
be
long
like,
as it doesn't directly tie into the story, you're good.
Aaron, at the beginning of the story, the dude's like, I'm Italian and my great grandfather's part of the mafia. And then halfway through the story, he mentions it again. And he's like, grandfather would be nice about now, like having him help us out of here. And then like, that's it. And it never comes up again.
Yeah. I
It'd be
mean,
so
that's
annoying.
like, you can have, well, that's the thing. It's like, people enjoy accents, people enjoy settings, people enjoy these types of things. Like if you have something
People
set in
enjoy-
Italy or Rome or whatever, obviously you'll find people who exist there and people have accents there. But like, it all just comes down to how you make something. It's like, okay, so I made a game that is entirely set in, I don't know, New York, which is like a big melting pot of a lot of different people anyway. So you'll basically find anything under the sun.
Yeah.
And there. And
Right.
obviously, even within New York, you have different types of accents. So, you know.
Aaron and I made a game set in a Eskimo tribe in Alaska. So they're an Eskimo
So
tribe. that
only
moved to-
Inuits.
Yeah, no. There are white Inuits, there are Asian Inuits, there are black Inuits,
No, that's not how that works.
there are European Inuits,
That's not how that
African
works.
Inuits, Asian Inuits, Pacific Islander Inuits, gay Inuits, all of it for no reason.
That's not how it works though. All I'm saying, this final thought has gone on longer than I meant it to. I just realized. But all I'm saying is that, just say this one more time because I'm probably rambling at this point. If you create something if something is created, it does not have to be an extra step in order to input diversity into your project.
Yes. It shouldn't be an afterthought.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, just, it doesn't necessarily be an afterthought, but it also shouldn't necessarily be your forefront focus. Anyways, that was a good topic of discussion.
Yeah.
I'd say. Fuck me. I've gone through all my water. Okay, so that's the end of the news and also the end of host topics because it is. I just kind of backed out of the news because I was getting angry and also just there was nothing else for me to talk about. But I got a host topic out of Devin, so that's a victory in itself.
Yeah.
So anything else to mention before we just move on to shameless self-promotion in the end of the show?
The dog's asleep.
Oh, good. Good for him. God, I am so fucking red in the face. Look at me. I'm like a tomato.
Oh, yeah?
Compare and contrast to the rest of my skin. Look at me. Ridiculous. Okay, so, all right, so welcome to Shameless Self-Promotion. You've been here at least once before, I'm sure. This is the part of the show where we shamelessly self-promote ourselves and what we have coming up. So, Matthew, what have you got coming up this week? And where can people find you? And is what you have coming up worth watching at all?
I don't know when I'm gonna have stuff up yet.
Okay.
See?
But
Hey.
yes, and you can find me on YouTube at Mystical Meanderings.
Okay. Mute yourself then. That was possibly the most awkward self-promotion we've had thus far.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Man with Mustache and Hat, what have you got going on? Devin, what have you got come up this week? Where can people find you? What's worth checking out? All the cool things.
Well, I have recently created. I can't scratch the
Podcast is a
mustache.
fucking
It itches
farce
so much.
sometimes, I swear.
So I have recently created a video about how to gain all the benefits of not all, but a lot of the benefits of a cold shower without having to freeze your butt off in the shower.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't want to spoil the video because it's like it doesn't even, it's like it could take 30 seconds, but I made a 2-minute video about it. It's funny.
All right.
If anyone's watching this, they should go watch that if they want to. It's funny.
All right, then. The video sounds very strange enough to watch, in fact. Is that it though? People can find you on.
You can find me on YouTube at Blingdon or DevMod Gaming or Deliot Z, or so I've been reading an encyclopedia.
All right, and what platform is that video going up on?
That is on Deliot Z.
All right then. And people can't find you on Twitter because you don't have.
Nope. Cannot find me on Twitter. Mwahaha.
Yeah, you can technically find Matthew on Twitter, but he didn't mention it, so I don't think he cares.
I don't.
All right then. So that's it for you, right, Devin?
Yes, that is it for me.
All right then. Moving swiftly onwards to myself. I would ask Max, but he's not here. Just go check out Max. I'm just gonna self-promote for him. Go check out Max's channel. It's Dillian Kriker. He talks about anime and shit. You'll enjoy it, I swear.
Yeah, he's pretty fun.
Now moving on to myself. So, as always, when I talk about the things I produce, I will continue to be shoveling out these podcasts week after week until I'm dead. So there's that. I mean, the pipeline and information never ceases, so there's always stuff to talk about. But yes, this podcast will continue to be uploaded on Gaming Discussion. You can find me on Twitter at gaming, the discussion, where I upload articles that I find interesting. Hell, if you look there, you might even see some of the articles that we end up talking about, because sometimes they're worth retweeting and putting out there anyways. I also don't use Twitter at all because I just I don't know. I don't really use it that much, but I retweet and post some stuff that's relevant to gaming in terms of other stuff that I find interesting or is worth putting out there. I haven't actually written. I think I've only written like a couple of tweets, and most of them are just me telling people that the GTD podcast is out. So that's fun. Other than that, though, I have a few videos in the works. And when I say in the works, I mean they're concepts in my head and nothing more. But hey, at least I'm admitting to it. I don't have a timeline for when they'll be up. I just need to start writing scripts. And honestly, my weeks have been kind of busy. I don't know what's been going on. So
I have a technique. Set a timer for 10 minutes and then just write for 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, like, I can focus on writing something. I just need to find the time to do it. It's less about it's more about my life has been a shambles for a long time. And when I say that, I mean, like, there's not been a lot of order in my life for a long time. So trying to create a semblance of order helps me fixate on ideas that I can actually work with. But, it's hard to get into a routine / order after, so long of not having any.
Yeah.
So, I just need to.
So what are you doing after the podcast?
What am I doing after the podcast? Well, I'm going to sit here for about probably upwards of 30 minutes, waiting for the episode to download onto my computer.
Write script for 30 minutes.
It's honestly, I worry about doing other things while it's happening because of complications. My computer's not the strongest sometimes, and I just don't want to fuck up the process. So there's that. Anyways, fucking shit, man. That's what I was going to say. You can check out what the news we talked about and the trailers we looked at and the channels that these people have in the description or pinned comment below if you're on YouTube. If you're on SoundCloud, hi, you're probably one of the few people that care to watch it. But yes, and now with fuck me, man, my endings just get worse and worse every time. But yes, and that is all I have for you to consume, if you wish to at all. So yes, moving on to after shameless self-promotion, we move on to the end of the show. I don't know if you knew this or not, but that's generally how it works. So yes, moving on to the end of the show, which happens to be now. God, I'm awkward as fuck. Thank you all. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I think I'm just like, what?
Matthew's just like staring dead eye. He's just like,
yeah, but thank you all so much for watching the GTD podcast. Like, favorite, comment, all of that good shit. Subscribe and or follow this beautiful podcast. And you know, I mean, follow everybody else too. They're good.
Next week we might be having Zac Efron as a guest.
That is a flagrant.
No.
Katy Perry?
No, this is all lies.
No.
If I will tell you the one truth, we might have Max back on. Maybe. Depending on his schedule. He said he might be able to get on, but we'll see what happens because the future is unpredictable, much like the ending of this podcast. But yes, I've already said thank you all for watching, but I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to get these two to say goodbye.
Right now?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, you could also like say thanks for watching, or just you know,
thanks for watching.
Apply into the ending.
Thank you for watching as well.
Yeah.
And
It's all
good
cool, man.
night. Because a lot
listening.
of people watch things late at night sometimes. Or good morning.
Or good morning, or
Good
good
morning.
Good night and good morning.
good afternoon. How about
Have
that?
a good rest of your day or night,
Good
depending on what
day.
time it is.
All right
No.
then. Well, yeah. So
Good
thanks so much
specific
for
date in the
watching.
year.
And we'll see you all next time.